Ladies and gentlemen, it's my understanding that you have reached unanimous verdicts. If in fact that is the case, if I could get the foreperson to fold those verdict forms in half and give them to the court deputy, who will then give those verdict forms to me, please. Okay, the verdict forms are complete. I will now publish them. They read as follows. In the Circuit Court of the 17th Judicial Circuit in and for Broward County, Florida, case number 19-7166 CF10A, State of Florida plaintiff versus Scott Peterson defendant, verdict, count 1. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 2. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 3. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 4. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 5. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 6. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 7. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 8. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 9. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 10. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Verdict, count 11. We, the jury, find as follows as to the defendant in this case. The defendant is not guilty. So say we all this 29th day of June 2023 at Fort Lauderdale, Broward County, Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to address you only by the numbers that are on the back of your badges. Juror number 1, are these your true verdicts?
Yes, they are.
Juror number 2, are these your true verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 4, are these your true verdicts? Juror number 5, are these your true verdicts?
Yes.
Juror number 6, are these your true verdicts? Juror number 7, are these your true verdicts? Ladies and gentlemen, I wish to thank you for your time and consideration of this case. I also wish to advise you of some very special privileges enjoyed by jurors. No juror can ever be required to talk about the discussions that occurred in the jury room except by court order. For many centuries, our society has relied upon juries for consideration of difficult cases. We have recognized for hundreds of years that a jury's deliberations, discussions, and votes should remain their private affair as long as they wish it. Therefore, the law gives you a unique privilege not to speak about the jury's work. Although you are at liberty to speak with anyone about your deliberations, you are also at liberty to refuse to speak to anyone. A request to discuss either your verdict or your deliberations may come from those who are simply curious, from those who might seek to find fault with you, from the media, from the attorneys, or elsewhere. It will be up to each of you to decide whether to preserve your privacy as a juror. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to again give you my sincere thanks for your time, effort, and energy. 99% of the citizens that live in Broward County, a county of 2 million, have no idea what happens when you're actually selected on a jury and you actually serve through the process. But now you all know. And I know most people don't say thank you, but I will say thank you because I know the time, effort, and energy that went into this. I have a thank you letter and a certificate. I'm going to give that to the court deputy who's going to pass that out when they walk you out because it has your names on them. The reason I normally do this in person in the courtroom, and I'm not going to do it today, is because I'm not and have not addressed you by your names. That's why we use the numbers in care of your privacy. I did also want to let you all know I will be entering an order today that instructs the clerk of court, the trial court administrator, as well as both parties not to disclose your names. Okay? So the only way your names are going to be disclosed is if you choose. And you certainly may choose. So if you want to go out there and talk to whoever you want to talk to, you're perfectly entitled to do that. If you want to go out there and never talk to another human being about this ever again, you're perfectly entitled to do that too. I want to emphasize that it's each of your decisions to make. But momentarily, I'm going to have you step in the back and collect your belongings. The court deputy is going to walk you out to your cars, and that's going to conclude your jury service. I do have 2 quick pieces of bad news for you. Number 1, I'm going to need those lanyards back. So if you take them off and just put them on the ledge in front of you, we'll collect them from you. Number 2, since you actually did serve on a jury, they will not summon you for jury duty for a year, for 12 months. So I'll see you next year. All right, unless you all have any questions for me, ladies and gentlemen, your jury service is concluded at this point. Again, with my great thanks for your time, effort, and energy, Court Deputy, there's certificates for each. Your jury service is concluded and you are dismissed. Thank you very much. Okay, we're outside the presence of the jury. Everyone can be seated. I do need to address with all parties. I am entering an order contemporaneously. Madam Clerk will have a copy for each of the lawyers, order sealing juror information. This order is specifically directed at our trial court administrator, at the Broward County Clerk of Courts, as well as the state and as well as the defense. I'm going to have the jury verdict forms redacted. The jury information is going to be sealed. So I'm likewise ordering the state and ordering the defense not to disclose any of those names. In this age of electronic multimedia, I'm sure if any jurors would like their identities to be revealed and would like to speak to media or other sources, I'm sure they will have ample opportunity to do so. But that's not going to come from the state, and that's not going to come from the defense. Ms. Wilcox, you have copies of those orders for each? Okay, very good. Mr. Peterson, I think that concludes your business. At this point, sir, the jury having found you not guilty on counts 1 through 11, I will likewise enter an order of acquittal as to counts 1 through 11. Mr. Eilgarsh, is there anything you need me to do regarding Mr. Peterson?
No, you're right.
I wish you good luck, sir. State, anything else you need me to do?
No, thank you.
Okay. Then at this point, that's going to conclude the proceedings in 19-7166 CF10A. All right, Madam Court Reporter, that is it.
You were here the whole time. 4 years.
Mr. Keller.
He crushed the other.
He's got a terrible reputation. Yes, sir.
What did you say to him?
He said that I have a terrible reputation. So she Thank you, Your Honor.
Like, did we think there would be anything different? We know.